get so strong enough.
Good evening, everyone. Tonight I decided that I'm going to make turkey noodle soup with homemade noodles. Now I canned my turkey from last year because we got quite a big turkey, and I boil everything down. And I'm kind of a stickler when it comes to that 18-month shelf life thing when it comes to canning. So now that Thanksgiving is coming again, I should probably get that last jar used up. So that's just what I'm going to do tonight for dinner. I'm going to make homemade turkey noodle soup. And you're going to need flour. And I'll give you the amounts when I'm pouring them in with words on the screen. So anyway, you're going to need flour. You're going to need eggs, water, an egg separator, poultry seasoning, salt and pepper, rolling pin, measuring spoons, and that old rough looking cookbook that was my mother's. And it looks rough, and it is rough. It's been well used, and it's going to continue to get used. All right, I'm going to go ahead and get this set up so that I can show you how to make these noodles. And now that I have a ball, I'm going to let it sit for a few minutes. And then I will roll it out for a couple of minutes, and then I'll get everything cleaned up and ready to roll out. Okay, now that I've let my dough rest for a few minutes, about 5 minutes, 6 minutes, something like that. Not a long time. I'm going to take my flour from my dusting bowl here, and I'm just going to put some of that down, and we're going to flatten it out a little bit, flip it over, kind of pat it so it's not sticking to the counter. Add a little flour if you need to, and start rolling. And I like to move mine around. I like a thicker noodle, so I don't roll mine out real thin. I like that hardiness of a thicker noodle. And that is going to do it. A little sticky on the sides there. I'm going to go underneath it with a spatula, make sure we're not sticking anywhere. All right, that looks good. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a plastic pizza cutter and make a square, cut it off evenly. Like so. And then we're going to just make our noodles. You can make them as thin as you want or as thick as you want. So now that I've got all my dough rolled out and the noodles are pretty much covered, I just kind of toss them like this before I let them sit in a bowl. I'm going to sit them in this big bowl here, the one that I did the dough in. I'm just going to kind of sprinkle them in there like that, just so that they can harden up a little bit and hang out in there for a while we get our soup going. Soup time! And how I make mine is, because I do a lot of canning and a lot of gardening, most of my vegetables come from my garden. And that's what I'm going to use today. I'm going to use my carrots from my garden. These ones in the pot are not mine. Mine are already sliced up and frozen because I harvested them earlier in the year. But this is just to show you what's in there. But I also do a lot of canning. So I have vegetable stock, 1 quart of vegetable stock, 1 quart of chicken stock, and 1 quart of turkey that I canned last year after Thanksgiving. We got a big turkey. There was a lot left. And my fears is that if I don't can it where I can see it, then it's not going to get used. It's just going to end up in the bottom of the deep freezer, and it's going to be a freezer burned, and you can't use it. It's just nasty after that. So anyway, I put salt and pepper in it, and poultry seasoning, and some rosemary, and of course onion and celery. So this is what you need, and I'm going to throw it in the pot and get it. Okay, now that we have everything cut up, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to add our stocks, our chicken stock, our vegetable stock, and then, of course, the star of the show, the turkey, the canned turkey. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to add in our salt and our pepper. Now, when it comes to that stuff, it really does come down to how much salt do you like? How much pepper do you like? How much poultry seasoning do you like? It's kind of like that with every soup or anything that you're making. I mean, I can give you a safe reference of, it's, stay on the safe side where it's like, okay, half a teaspoon or a teaspoon. But when it comes down to it, it's really up to the individuals that are going to be eating it, how much they want of what it is you're making. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to dump this in. It's a nice ratio. Just going to shake up my vegetable juice a little bit, or my vegetable stock, I should say. Pour that in there. Give my chicken stock a good shake, just like you would if you bought it out of the store. And then, of course, our turkey. Oh, wonderful. Oh, that smells amazing. It'd probably help if I had a wide mouth jar, but I didn't at the time, so I didn't have one available. So you do what you got to do, right? And it works. It works just fine. All right, and we're just going to give that a little stir. And then I'm going to go and get these on the stove until it's boiling. And then we're going to add our noodles to it. Okay, our soup is boiling and it looks delicious. And now it is time to add the noodles. I'm going to drop them in slowly and kind of away from you, kind of like this. And you'll notice that they sink right to the bottom, which is okay. Because what happens as they cook, they float to the top. And I'm just going to take some handfuls here and put them in, and then I'll stir it up. a little bit. And then we'll come back when they're done and I'll show you what it looks like. I'm sorry for the shakiness and stuff. I'm by myself today, so we're going to let these cook and then we'll show you what it looks like when it's all done. And these noodles are like the best ever, and they really are easy to make. I promise you, they are not hard at all.
It's so strong enough.